Chile's climate diplomat to lead fractured plastic treaty talks. Election of Julio Cordano via a contentious vote marks a pivotal procedural shift to break a 2-year deadlock.
The international effort to forge a landmark global treaty on plastic pollution has been paralysed by fundamental disagreements between a large bloc of states advocating for binding measures to curb plastic production and a smaller group of oil-producing nations focused narrowly on waste management.
After failed final talks in Busan 2024 and Geneva 2025 and the resignation of the previous chair, the process was stuck in a consensus trap that allowed a minority to block progress.
The election of Chile's COP Climate Summit chief negotiator, Julio Cordano, on February 8, 2026, is a critical intervention.
His selection was not achieved through consensus, but through a majority vote, a procedural breakthrough that NGOs hail as a potential game-changer to escape endless stalling tactics and finally address a crisis where over 400 million metric tons of plastic are produced annually, polluting every corner of the planet.
The ubiquitous crisis and the consensus impasse. Plastic's planetary infiltration meets geopolitical intransigence, making a treaty both urgent and elusive.
Plastic pollution is a full-cycle environmental failure, with microplastics now detected from mountain peaks to ocean trenches.
The core conflict stalling the treaty is not scientific but economic and ideological.
On one side, nations, including many small island states inundated with marine plastic waste, demand a strong treaty that tackles the problem at source by limiting virgin plastic production, a direct threat to the fossil fuel and petrochemical industries.
Opposing them is a coalition including Kuwait, Iran, and Russia, whose economies are tied to hydrocarbon extraction. They advocate for a treaty focused solely on recycling and waste management, protecting their production interests.
This deadlock rendered the consensus-based UN negotiating process inert, as seen in the collapsed talks and the chair's resignation, proving the existing framework incapable of reconciling these diametrically opposed positions.
The vote as a strategic breakthrough and Cordano's mandate moving from unanimity to majority rule isolates obstructionists and empowers a new chair to redefine the negotiation process.
The election itself is the treaty's most significant development in years.
After oil-producing states attempted to run down the clock by requesting more time for consensus, 156 countries forced to vote, electing Julio Cordano over candidates from Senegal and Pakistan.
This move, as noted by Ipen Bjornbila, means the plastics treaty has escaped the consensus trap.
The vote revealed the blocking minority is very, very, very small, as confirmed by the Tara Ocean Foundation.
Cordano's immediate challenge is operational. He must institute a rigid and more efficient way of working, calling for flexibility and pragmatism.
His mandate is to build a new, more productive negotiation structure that can withstand dilution tactics and advance substantive text on core obligations, potentially including production caps, chemical transparency, and extended producer responsibility, which the majority of nations support.
An open road fraught with diplomatic and economic battles. The procedural victory unlocks negotiations, but the fight over the treaty's ambition and binding measures has only just begun.
The strategic verdict is cautiously optimistic. The road ahead is now open, but it leads through a political minefield.
The vote establishes a precedent that progress can be made without universal agreement, potentially marginalizing the most obstructive states.
However, the substantive gulf remains vast.
The future rounds of talks, for which no date is set, will be a fierce contest over the treaty's legal architecture and enforcement mechanisms.
The pro-ambition bloc must now leverage its numerical majority to craft a robust treaty text, while the oil-producing states, though outvoted on procedure, will likely shift to fighting loopholes, weak definitions, and non-binding clauses within the negotiations.
Cordano's success will be measured by his ability to channel this new dynamic into a treaty that meaningfully reduces plastic production and pollution, moving beyond the waste management paradigm to address the root causes of the crisis.